Hey, what's going on? Happy Tuesday, February 15th. Hope you had a lot of loving yesterday on your Valentine's Day, and hopefully I was able to help you win some money or at least put yourself into a competitive spot. Tonight, hopefully going to do the same thing for you right here, right now. We're going to look back at yesterday so we can game plan going forward. I think that the best way to blaze a trail going forward is honestly to figure out how you got to where you were by looking backwards. I know it's weird, it's different. Often a lot of these streams and videos you tune into every single day here on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and whatever platform you choose, they're sitting here looking at current picks, looking forward all the time, and they never really review their process. They never try to hone in on their skills, figure out what they did right, what they did wrong, how they can adjust when a situation that might have occurred the night prior happens again in the future. How do they handle that? How do they adjust, pivot, and kind of modify their strategy? Each unique slate that does shift every single day based on the news cycle. An NBA news cycle is like no other, so we need to be prepared for it. If you tuned in for the first time today, thank you very much. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button while you're here on YouTube, and I thank you dearly. I'm humbled by the support. It's been nothing short of kind of leaving me speechless daily. I know that's probably not the correct phrasing here, but it does. It leaves me speechless. To see the way y'all support me every single day here is absolutely wild. And I just want to say thank you again for the millionth time. Thank you so much. Let me open up my Discord. CG said to check my DM so I can bring something out. Okay. So he just sent me something, and this is something we're going to be using on Fantasy Cruncher. It's coming up here in a hot second. We are adding this to it. Check this out. So we've got this new addition where we're adding thumbed values, thumb cores, thumb sim model. Okay. So one of the reasons why we do stuff like this is because, all of our members get $20 to use on Fantasy Cruncher every single month. That's right. FC partnered. So all of our members, you can see it on the screen in the top right, somewhere up here where my cursor is. You get $20 per month to use on Fantasy Cruncher. So what we do is we try to cater a lot of our tools and our content to using FC, whether you're an MME builder, a cash game builder, a single entry builder. And we have the single entry stuff, if you're just using your cell phone or building on your laptop by yourself, whatever, go for it. We have the support for you there. But if you're using FC, we'll want to make sure you're supported in that way too, whether you're playing tiers, full slate, whatever it is, short slates, 2-game slates, we got all the info here. So CG has added this. What it will do is that it'll show you what the projections are. All right. So you'll have, Nikola Jokic here. Let's choose Julius Randle, a guy I loved last night. So his rating was an 87, projection 47, value 4.91, all significant numbers. Rise metric 30.9%. That's his probability of hitting 5.5x value. He crushed. Ownership 17. Optimal score. The chance he'd end up in the optimal 14.4%. Leverage against the field minus 2.7%. He was a tier 3 pick last night on the tiers. All right, so you slide all the way over to the end, and you're like, well, okay, Mitch loves Julius Randle. He's in one of his target groups for the day. How can we take advantage of that? All right, so you slide on over. Here is what would happen if you put a thumb on Julius Randle. You would have increased his value up to 5.3. Remember, one thumb on Fantasy Cruncher is an 8% increase on projection. So if you do 2 thumbs, that's a 16% increase on projection. 3 thumbs would be 24% increase. If you do a thumb down, minus 8% on his projection. Remember, his projection was 46 points, 46.9 or whatever it was, right? So as soon as you give him a thumb up, now it goes to a 5.3 value. And we know that an optimizer is going to be, to some extent, just be crunching by the most valuable ways to slam in the best lineup possible. And it's going to be crunching by value. That's why you often can sort by the value, and that will be the gist of where your exposures are. You ever do that? You can sort after the night is over by the increase in value or by their value. And those are the guys that you have the highest exposure to most nights. Now, if you looked at it last night, you were looking at Julius Randle, you would see that the Sims model, okay, I'll just highlight Julius Randle himself. All right, I don't have editing on, so I'm just going to drag it over, whatever. If I have editing on, I can do this. All right, so his thumb score, if you gave him 1 thumb up, that would boost his score to 50.86. Because in FC, you give a thumb, but you don't often see the increase. This is how you can see it. This is what you're looking at today. And then you could look at what is the Sims model for him at these thumb cores as well. So this is going to be added to the Fantasy Cruncher, the lineup study. Oh, goodness gracious. See, this is what happens when I multitask. I'm trying to look at his DM here. That's going to be added to the NBA Study Hub on teamriserfall.com. You can take that and then add it to Fantasy Cruncher if you'd like. All right. That way, if you upload it into FC, then you have that data there for you. And that will shift and adjust as the projections are adjusted and updated, if that makes sense. That will help. It should help. All right, so last night, let's go look at DraftKings. And I did a stream yesterday, and you saw me legitimately just pick players that I wanted to use that slate. And I had this thought, and I tweeted this out this morning. I hope you guys are following my Twitter. I post so much good stuff there these days. Free research all day. That's basically what I've been trying to do every day, like 5-6 tweets where it's just free research for everybody. I have to dig into data so much more than I ever have before. And I just share it now. I just want people to see some cool nuggets I come across. So if you're following me, I hope so. It's at the top left of the screen. You guys can grab me there. Now, I had this group of players that I was going to be targeting yesterday. Check out how they did. You can see Clay, not so well, did not do well. Kevin Porter did okay. Deontay Murray did fine. Pascal Siakam, Cameron Thomas, Julius Randle went nuclear. Darius Baisley, phenomenal game. Keldon Johnson, Quentin Grimes, crushed. Okay. Now, here's what I did last night for my crunches and how I won money. I'm going to show you my actual results down below. It took me this many crunches to get to where I wanted last night. 24. Final projections got uploaded, like 6:41, something like that. I did 24 crunches that quick. Let me throw it into the mini-max. That's all I entered last night. Been keeping it light as I'm being pulled in many directions these days. And at $143 won, 68 profit, 65 lineups cashed. Had I had it in the smaller mini max, probably a little bit better. Yep. Would have been 178 profit. Hot dang. Would have been much better. Here's what I did with my pool. So I had to give multiple thumbs up to certain players. Interestingly enough, the players I had to give multiple thumbs to get access to did not do well. Had I not touched it, I bet you the projections would have led me to a much better pool and spread if I just naturally let this happen based on projections. So I had my pool of players. I decided yesterday during my stream that I wanted to get exposure to. They're my targets list. All right. There they are. That's my targets list. If I literally did not force in more exposure to these guys, I would have probably done much better. So let me quickly throw 150 on. I'm going to allow everyone to stay at 100% and just see how I would have done with my little targets list like this. Or will we find out that I did much better by tweaking? Appreciate that, Muddy. Thanks for being here, dude. Wahoo, family time with people everywhere. I love that. So it looks profitable. I mean, this is basically like an optimal 150 with just my short targets list. Some of my projections are tweaked. Hold on. Looks like I bumped up Keldon Johnson. Let me use the stock ones. Oh, even better. Slamming in Julius Randle, getting some more Darius Baisley. Man, I wish I forced in more Baisley last night. Goodness gracious. Tons of Joker. Let's see where my exposure is landing. Bunch of Drew, Jordan Nwora. I mean, it's a pretty good spread. Patty Mills is somebody I capped last night at like 15%. That was helpful. Projections really were all over. A lot of really good plays. Look at the exposure list. Even Bruce Brown slid in there for 11%. Not bad. Yo, what's up, Better Luck? Appreciate you, man. First time catching you live. Appreciate the info. Let's have a better day than yesterday. I don't know. I thought yesterday was pretty good. So I kind of want to give you that like light bulb moment I had today, this morning when I was looking at things. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but it's a thought I had. Totally based on the fact that yesterday at 1 o'clock or whatever time it was, I went live and I created this stream. I literally went team by team. I was like, I like this guy. I like this guy. I like this guy. I like this spot. This price is good. Ownership at this level. No, thank you. Ownership at this level. Yes. Let me pivot from this guy because of this ownership. Pivot at this price point to this player at the same price point at half the ownership. And boom, I did that stream. Took me like 15 minutes to do. And then my light bulb moment this morning was last night. We had that news that came out about the Bucks, right? We had no Giannis, and all of a sudden we had 4 or 5 Milwaukee Buck players being, higher owned players. Holiday, Nora, Middleton, Portis, right? These guys all of a sudden just became chalk. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I feel like if the projections are already adjusting for the news and the ownerships are already updating for the news, why am I then doing it after? Am I not just like double weighting that by saying Drew Holiday, need him, lock, right? Aren't I just double weighting what the projections are already adjusting for? So I thought about it last night. I was like, you know what? I wonder if maybe allowing the projections to adjust organically, but still have that strategy, or at least the baseline of the strategy I wanted to execute earlier in the day, is the way to do it going forward. Because I didn't change my strategy. And I messaged CG this morning. We usually chat about how the night went. And I chatted with him in DM and I was like, dude, I actually did something a little bit different than what I normally do. I had that strategy I set up on stream, and then I did not deviate. This was, there they are. Like, that's the group I tried to get exposure to. It was Crunch 23. All right, here's my exposure to those players. Is this it? Yes-ish, just about. Maybe it was 22. Let me find it real quick. I want to make sure I get the right one. Yeah, right here. Crunch 24. 65 lamps cashed. 68, 1. Profited. So here it is. Yeah, 0.7 Basically. So I have gone out of my way to get extra exposure to the players I had said earlier in the day I wanted exposure to for reasons X, Y, and Z. And then you can see the adjustment here. And look, Patty Mills was capped down here. I thought that was just fool's gold. Patty Mills is fool's gold. So I looked at that. So I was just like, you know what? And Andre Drummond, same thing. I capped him at like 20%. Listen, his new situation. I didn't know about minutes. He did fine, 33 points. I didn't like the elevated ownership. New situation. Didn't know what kind of rotation he'd have. Nicholas Claxton's still there, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Drummond's probably somebody who's going to get more minutes. We'll pay $7K for him in a week. But last night, I just wanted to be off him while the field was on him. So I have the ownership projection, right? About 30% projected ownership. So I said no more than 15-ish, 16, 20%, whatever it was. And then I went from there. So my goal was just to not say, hey, Bucks chalk, give me 100%, give me 80%, give me tons of Nora, give me Drew at 100. So I tried to like slightly cap these guys, Holiday 80% cap. And then I literally just did not deviate. I said projections work around what my goal is, right? So if we were to do something like that for tonight, and let me try to correlate this with tonight's slate. All right, let me do this live for the first time looking at it. 7:30 start time. Nice. So like, let's say tonight we're looking at this and we're like, okay, oops, kick my monitor. Almost booted my light. All right, so you're looking at this and you're like, okay, I'm going to end up with, I'd love, let me pick some guy here just randomly, okay? Give me a moment. Like, let's say you're like, Mr. Triple Double here, Terry Rozier, triple double 2 games ago, missed it by 1 assist last game. Okay. And you're like, man, he's just riding hot, playing a ton of minutes, playing out of his mind. I want so much Terry Rozier tonight. If you don't put the thumb in there right now, you're not going to get exposure to him. All right. It's just not going to work. Projection's got to be higher on a guy like that at 8K. Look, thumb up doesn't work. 2 thumbs up. Are we getting exposure now? Yeah, we're getting a ton. This is often what happens when you do those 8% increases. So this is where you come back and you put some type of cap to make sure, all right, nice and simple, 2 thumbs up, cap them at 40. Now I'll get them in 40% of my lineups. You liked him, you like Strus, you want a Jaylen Brown, McDaniels, Bridges, Gallo, and we'll sort by value real quick. And bang, bang, bang. All right, so you've got your likes list, your likes targets, and you crunch. And here you go. You're not getting enough of Strus, Gallo, Jaden. Let's add them in. Crunch back. And there we go. Now they're all getting selected. Okay, cool. So the goal is to have my targets group. Now, also, if I wanted to do it a little bit different, you could just throw all of them into a quick group. Click this down arrow, add selected, create new group. I've done this a million times. All right, and you're like, I want at least 3 of these players in every single lineup. Add all players back in. There you go. So you've got your groups. And you can create your 150. You've got your group set up in the advanced options. On top of that, you've got the likes list. So look, your exposure to these players that you like, 2, 30, 7, 50, 41, 40, 50, 40, 100%. Now, we've got a setup for tonight, right? Follow me along. Correct, better luck. So last night, the Bucks news comes out. What's everybody do? They adjust. Okay, got to get so much of Bobby Portis. Got to get Nora in there. Have to get Middleton, Drew Holiday. Slam them all in there. Need to get $3 every lineup. Everyone adjusted. The entire DFS industry adjusted. So why do we go out of our way to adjust on top of projections that are already adjusting for this? Like, that's it. That's the thing. So let's say tonight, I've got this strategy and I'm like, this is the group. I love this group. I want this group to be the group I'm targeting. I love these plays for X, Y, and Z. Or, the staff cores had these 9 players listed in the cores. Okay. So you've got the staff cores right there. That's your strategy. The staff cores last night, right? Puggle, Davin Puggle, myself, CG Scrosby. We had our cores, and you took all our cores and you put them into a group and you said, I want a thumb up on each of them, or I want 4 out of every 8 players in my lineups to be out of that core group. And then at 6:37, 6:17, whatever. Okay. And Jason Tatum is out. What's everyone going to do? Oh my gosh. Jaylen Brown. Lock him in now, right? So everyone goes here and they're like, Jaylen Brown, 48 points, whatever, right? He's already in our targets list. Marcus Smart, Derek White, massive boosts. Everybody gets boosted, right? That's what happens when a guy who plays 38 minutes and has a 30% usage is out. 48 minutes, 36, like 27 shots open up, all right? Like, everyone's going to go flocking to Boston, flocking to the Boston players. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't adjust for it. The projections will already adjust. CG is going to post the last projection update at 640, 635, whatever it is, and that's accounted for. So we don't have to go out of our way now to take all of those Boston players, throw them into a group and say, use at least 3. 2 thumbs up on Derek White. Got to get Derek White in there. Why? If the projections after update slam in Derek White, good, cool. If they don't, there's a more optimal route to victory. And by the way, Derek White, Marcus Smart, these guys elevated ownership now. Everyone's adjusting. Every projection system optimizer out there will adjust for that. So why do we need to manually on top of that? If you're trying to be different than the field, I don't think that we can just say, I'm going to do more than what an already higher owned player exposure rate is going to be like. If a guy's going to be 48% owned, I don't think the play is to be like, well, I'm going 70%. probably just going to go a little underweight on the guy, right? You cap him at 25. 25 is still a healthy amount of a player. 25% is still a healthy amount. It's about half of what the field is. You still have lineups in play to win a tournament at that rate. But if he busts, I mean, that's half the field that's dead, but only 25% of your lineups. You still got 130, 120 lineups with legs running to the top of the standings because 48% of the field dead in the water. Jaylen Brown, duds. Dead in the water. Honestly, it's not like rocket science what I'm saying. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I feel like I just need to be reminded, that if the projections are already adjusting, maybe I don't change my strategy and I leave my strategy as is, allow the projections to update. And if I have to tweak because like one of my guys is out or now all of a sudden, I don't know, Joel Embiid was in my target 9, right? And then all of a sudden, James Harden's active tonight, okay? Whatever, 2-3 guys are active all of a sudden for Philly. Well, okay, well maybe I don't want to use Embiid at 11-6 with Harden in there, and I'm worried about his usage and whatever, right? Like maybe that is when I adjust my targets list. But other than that, I mean, just allow the projections to update around what your strategy is for the night. Don't deviate from it just because there's slate breaking news. The projections are going to adjust for that. Let the projections adjust everything around what your strategy is. Like if you had a goal in mind to pivot from X, Y, and Z with A, B, and C, don't not do that just because Drew Holiday is now the lock of the year. The projections are going to slam Drew in there still. Cap him somehow and then allow your strategy you had to still work itself out. That's it. Like that was the thing I was thinking about this morning. I woke up, I'm like, man, I had a really good night, Finished in like 18th place or something. I was close to the top of the standings, won $150, 148. I had a chance, 17 spots away from whatever it was, $4,000. Like that makes me happy. But maybe I just don't adjust for things as much. Like Bobby Portis, the news came out, I was like, give me more Bobby Portis. Didn't need to do thing. Have anything on building 20 max? Yeah. One unique. Well, yeah, I would do it. And I would shrink your pool. I think that this is a general discussion, Josh, and I don't mind having it. I think DraftKings, honestly, people fall in love with this 70-point ceiling, 12K guys. Tournaments are won in this range on DraftKings. I mean, we're talking 3-4 years of this. The LaMelo Ball 60-point outing at 8K, right? 8.8, 60 points. 9K, 67. Yeah, you know what? The floor is baked into the price tag. Like, duh. You're going to have some dud outings at this price range. That's why they're only 8 or 9.2. But when you get this from your 9K guy, you win tournaments. So these players are where I think you win tournaments. On DraftKings, I don't think this is where you win tournaments. I just don't think so. Like Luka's the one guy I feel like paying up for tonight. But like you guys get this. I've talked about this ad nauseum here with DraftKings. The elite players, the elite price players. It's hard for me to pay up for them on DK. Unless it's last night and you got a Quentin Grimes at 3K, Jordan Nwora at 3K. It's like, well, now you've got $44,000 left over for 6 player spots if those two are in the lineup together. You're going to have to pay for some studs. You just have to. You just have to. Lost leaders. That's basically what those players become. You just plug them in and go. Just plug them in and go. You're going to get a ton of Doncic. You're going to get a Nikola Jokic at 12K for 70%. And it's okay. But like on a night where there's not a bunch of 3K starters, okay, you know what? I mean, Jaylen Brown can go for 50. Devin Booker can go for 54, 67. Tyrese Halliburton, 57, 51. 58 from CP3. Can they dud at 36, 41, 42? Sure. Absolutely. That's baked in their price tag. But if a couple of them have 52 on the same night, or ball goes for 67 on the same night, I mean, you're talking 50% of these games for a 9-game player, he's in the 60s. It's hard to pay up. Hard to pay up. Appreciate y'all being here. I really do. I really do. NBA DFS is a grind. It's an absolute grind. I think constantly reviewing what you're doing is helpful. I think if you're just like, I'm doing this for 210 slates, nothing can stop me now. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time losing my money. Got to be careful. You can't just keep banging your head into the wall expecting a different result doing the same thing every single day. Got to change things. Be comfortable changing things. It's okay. It's okay to change stuff. DFS landscape is ever shifting. Never the same thing from day to day. Can't approach it as such. Got to have loose general guidelines, right? No rules. You're not like, I do A, B, and C every single night the same way every time. Just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Can we please do NHL for DK? Yeah, I did NHL for a month. I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm doing a little bit of NBA. I want to give NBA some love for a few days here. I hadn't done NBA for a while now. Greg, I appreciate that too. Cap roster over 9K. Last year, we did a 2-week research study of doing no more than one player over 9K, no more than one player under 5K, I want to say. So 6 out of your 8 players on your roster were always between 5 and 9. And the results were pretty darn good. That was 2021, Who knows? 2020, whatever years. I can't remember. Where are we? You're only here for singing donuts? The Brownie says, great point about adjusting. That's why I started crunching by value, something I never tried before. Yeah, I've seen people doing a lot. And by the way, Marcus Smart, illness, questionable. Never a good sign. Illness, middle of the day. So what's the news tonight? Derek White, right? Everyone's just going to flock to Derek White, who's probably going to start now. So if you're adjusting for Derek White and you're like, oh, Robert Williams, calf, questionable. So you've got Robert Williams. If he's out, well, then you're getting 1 million minutes for Al Horford and Grant Williams. If Marcus Smart is out, there's no Dennis Schroeder. Now it's Derek White. So you'll have Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, all chalk, all 25% or higher ownership. Derek White, probably highest because of his price tag. You probably get some Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard, if he's still active or healthy, he's super cheap. He'll probably get 26, 28 minutes off the bench. He probably becomes chalky. And it's if you go out, Pritchard, thank you. If you go out of your way to adjust for all of that, on top of the fact that the projections will probably do that for you, you're just double weighting what everyone else is already doing. Don't adjust. Don't over adjust to news. I feel you. I hear you. And I'm happy for today. We're going to do some NASCAR. I think I'm waiting for CG to put out some study hubs for NASCAR. So we'll probably do NASCAR Friday. PGA I meant to do today, but I really wanted to review yesterday. We'll do PGA tomorrow so that we can prepare for Thursday. So Wednesday, we'll do PGA lineup study from last week. We'll do a little rewind potentially, and then we'll look forward for Thursday morning's slate. Okay, so tomorrow we'll do some PGA. Get you prepared for the day. If you want to join up, please, by all means, I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now. We have a premium Discord, which is what I was trying to say. You'll get $20 to use on Fancy Cruncher every month as we're partnering with them. And listen, there's a lot of value built into this right there. That link I just posted on screen. A lot of value built into there. And hopefully I catch you on the inside. We'll love to talk Fancy Cruncher. Love to talk DFS with you in chat. We do private lineup building shows, Fancy Cruncher streams, all sorts of stuff in our premium Discord. We've added a premium layer to it. It's been pretty fun. Y'all have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same